Cumberland Law School is unrelated to the University of the Cumberlands in Williamsburg, Kentucky, and is no longer a part of Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee. Cumberland School of Law is an accredited law school at Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama, United States. Founded in 1847 at Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee, it is the 11th oldest law school in the United States and has more than 11,000 graduates. Its alumni include two United States Supreme Court Justices, Nobel Peace Prize recipient Cordell Hull, the father of the United Nations, over 50 U.S. representatives, and numerous senators, governors, and judges. The school offers two degree programs, the 90-hour Juris Doctor and the Master of Comparative Law, which is designed to educate foreign lawyers in the basic legal principles of the United States. The school also offers 6 dual degree programs, and is building a biotechnology law emphasis through its research center. According to Samford's official 2013 ABA required disclosures, 57.8% of the class of 2013 obtained full-time, long-term, JD required employment 9 months after graduation. History. This summary is based on From Maverick to Mainstream, a review of Cumberland's history and the development of the American legal education system. Langham and Walthall summarize the history of Cumberland Law School as, from its very local, Tennessee origins in 1847, Cumberland emerged as a premier law school with a national status. It excelled in faculty, teaching methodology, and numbers of students. Following the American Civil War, Cumberland rebuilt itself and ultimately succeeded on a grand scale with its single-year curriculum. Early years and founding. Cumberland School of Law was founded on July 29, 1847 in Lebanon, Tennessee at Cumberland University. At the end of 1847, there were 15 law schools in the United States. Founder and first Professor Judge Abraham Carruthers said, "I call it an adventure. I speak of it as an experiment." Prior to the law school's official founding, Cumberland University facilitated the study of law and admitted a diverse student body, evidenced by graduates such as George W. Harkins, a Choctaw chief, who received a law degree from Cumberland and became a judge in 1834. Antebellum years. Prior to the founding of the United States' first law schools, the primary means for a legal education was apprenticeship. Establishing law schools was difficult in the early 19th century. Harvard was only able to re-establish its law school in 1829 and Yale in 1826. By 1859, Cumberland, Harvard, and the University of Virginia School of Law were the 3 largest law schools in the United States. A year later, 1860, only 21 university law schools existed in the country, and, in no school, did the curriculum extend beyond 2 years. During the antebellum years, Cumberland enjoyed success. Nathan Green, Jr., son of then-Professor Nathan Green, Sr., stated that Cumberland enjoyed the highest degree of prosperity, with a beautiful 20-acre campus, picturesque trees and fences, and fine architecture. Cumberland's first graduate, Payne Page Prim, ultimately became Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court. Students were taught through reading treatises, approximately 2 hours worth of recitations each morning, and a mandatory moot court program. Carruthers considered the law a science and the Socratic method a necessity. The cost was $50 a session and a $5 contingent fee. After the Civil War, this treatise method, the legal formalism of the school's approach, and Nathan Green Jr.'s unwillingness to make changes, were all considered reasons for Cumberland's drift out of the mainstream. Civil War. April 13, 1861 jolted Cumberland out of its golden age when President Abraham Lincoln called for volunteers to quell the Southern insurrection. The campus split within a week. Some students joined the Northern Army, many joined the Southern. Nathan Green Jr.'s father, a law professor, went home, but in fear of arrest. Abraham Caruthers fled to Marietta, Georgia, where he died a year later. During the war, Professors John Carter and Nathan Green Jr. fought as Confederate officers. Carter was killed, but Green survived the war. The campus did not. The trees were cut down and fences destroyed and burned. The Confederate Army burned the university buildings, apparently because a Confederate major was offended that black Union soldiers had used them as barracks. Reconstruction. The law school began the slow process of rebuilding. In July 1866, Cumberland adopted the image of the phoenix, the mythological Egyptian bird that is reborn from its own ashes. The new motto was Iseneribus Resurgo, or I rise from the ashes. In September 1865, classes resumed with 11 students, which soon grew to 20. The 1865 class included a Confederate general and Union colonel, enemies only a few months earlier. Nathan Green Jr. kept the school together until Henry Cooper, a circuit judge, Andrew B. Martin, and Robert L. Caruthers, brother of deceased founder Abraham Caruthers, joined the faculty. Robert Caruthers had previously served as the state attorney general and had been elected governor of Tennessee during the war in 1863, but was never inaugurated. Cooper did not serve on the faculty for long. In 1873, Robert Caruthers purchased Corona Hall from the Corona Institute for Women for $10,000, which he immediately donated to the university for use by the law school. The destruction of the campus and the devastation of war had impoverished the school, and it was almost 15 years before it saw students enter from outside the South. When a student from Illinois and a member of the Choctaw Nation enrolled at Cumberland, but there were few students from outside of the defeated southern states, which Langham and Walthall claim underscored how terribly the Civil War blighted Cumberland. Robert Caruthers persisted, despite the setbacks, and in 1878 Caruthers Hall was dedicated in his honor. This new school replaced Corona Hall, which had limitations. The new hall apparently had excellent acoustics and hard seats, and is described as a splendid structure built after the latest architectural style, is nearly 100 feet from base to spire, and contains 2 recitation rooms for the law department, 2 society halls, a library, and a chapel whose seating capacity is about 700. National shift in legal education. Despite the seemingly heroic efforts to keep the school alive, Cumberland was falling into the minority at the turn of the 20th century. It maintained a 1-year curriculum when other schools moved toward longer terms, and it was entrenched with legal formalism, which had reached its peak in the 1870s and would soon be on the decline. In 1876, for instance, Harvard Law School began to encourage a 3-year curriculum. Through 1919, Cumberland did not adapt to the shift in legal education. Historian Louis L. Lasker observed that Cumberland, which had once marked the high point of professional education, had become a captive of its own success, unwilling to adopt modern techniques such as the case method, or to expand and deepen its curriculum by opting for the 3-year standard. Cumberland became the symbol of the Democratic bar. In 1903, Nathan Green Jr. became the first dean of the law school. For the prior 57 years the school did not have this position, which was becoming more and more popular among law schools. Cumberland first admitted women in 1901, and the library grew from 600 volumes in 1869 to 3,000 in 1878. Today, The Lucille Stewart Beeson Law Library contains 300,000 volumes and microfilm volume equivalents. In 1915, Cumberland refurbished its halls with an $8,000 grant from the U.S. government as reparation for federal occupancy during the Civil War. When Cordell Hull graduated from Cumberland, he commented on the diploma privilege, which granted the right to practice law without taking a bar exam, saying that, according to custom, we members of the graduating class, the moment we received our diplomas, took them to the courthouse, where a district judge awaited us. He swore us in as members of the bar. I was not 20 years old. Cordell Hull is today honored at Cumberland with a moot courtroom bearing his name. Cumberland eventually did adapt to the changing times, moving from Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee, to Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama in 1961. It is one of a few law schools in the United States to have been sold from one university to another. Today the law school is known for its emphasis on trial advocacy and is building a biotechnology emphasis through its Biotechnology Center. Long-Range Plan of 2005. In December 2005, Cumberland adopted a long-term plan for the school. One call of the plan is to gradually downsize the number of students in order to provide smaller classes and closer individual attention to students. In 1995, the entering class was 212, and by 2007 that number had been reduced to 159. Institution. The law school emphasizes practical skills and integrity. The former dean, former federal judge John L. Carroll, has stated that the prevailing philosophy is simple: practical skill outweighs raw knowledge, and application transcends erudition. If the goal were to produce great law students, the tenets might be exactly the opposite. Our goal is to produce exceptional lawyers. That's why Cumberland's curriculum emphasizes the core competencies of legal practice, research, writing, and persuasion. Curriculum. The first year required classes are civil procedure, contracts, property, torts, criminal law, and evidence. Students are divided into one of three sections, where the students remain together in the respective classes for the entire first year. First-year students are also enrolled in smaller sections for lawyering and legal reasoning, a class that focuses on honing the student's ability to think and write like a lawyer. Second and third-year courses allow students more choices and some degree of specialization. Cumberland offers a balance of traditional courses, such as criminal procedure, family law, and basic federal income tax, and practical courses, such as basic and advanced trial skills, business drafting, real estate transactions, and law office practice and management. Students must also take professional responsibility and the MPRE, an exam that is required to practice in addition to the bar exam. Students are taught using the Socratic method, typical of law school pedagogy. Foreign programs. Summer 2006, Sydney Sussex College, Cambridge, England. Summer 2006, Universidade Federal de Ceará, Fortaleza, Brazil. Summer 2006, University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. The Lucille Stewart Beeson Law Library. The library building is 42,500 square feet with 13 conference rooms, 474 study spaces, carrels equipped with electrical and data connections, and 3 computer labs. The collection consists of approximately 300,000 volumes and microform volume equivalents. The library also offers electronic and audio-visual resources. There are 7 full-time librarians, 8 full-time support staff members, and 4 part-time support staff members. The Center for Biotechnology, Law, and Ethics. The Center for Biotechnology, Law and Ethics focuses on the research and study of the ethical and legal issues arising from the biotechnology industry, which is important to the city of Birmingham. Each year the center sponsors a major symposium which attracts nationally known experts. The 2007 symposium, entitled "The United States Healthcare System: Access, Equity and Efficiency," focused on the issues of healthcare delivery in the United States, particularly to the poor, the problems that exist and potential solutions to those problems. The symposium brought together experts from the University of Minnesota, the St. Louis University School of Law and Texas A&M University and Cumberland. The keynote address, which was also the Thurgood Marshall Lecture, was presented by United States Congressman Arthur Davis, a leader on issues relating to the delivery of healthcare services. Other research centers: the Center for Law and AMP Church, the Alabama Center for Law and Civic Education. Admissions statistics. Candidates are selected based on LSAT, undergraduate GPA, discipline of study, graduate work, undergraduate grade trends, employment, undergraduate institution, personal statement, and letters of recommendation. The fall 2007 entering class consisted of 159 students selected from an applicant pool of over 1,200. The class has an average LSAT of 157 and average GPA of 3.27. The top 75th percentile of the class has an LSAT of 159 and 3.52 GPA. The incoming class also had the distinction of having the highest percentage of women in the school's 160-year history. Bar passage. First-time takers from the class of 2006 had a 93.3% passage rate on the July 2006 Alabama bar exam. First-time takers from the class of 2005 had a 94.1% passage rate on the July 2005 Alabama bar exam. Employment. According to Samford's official 2013 ABA required disclosures, 57.8% of the class of 2013 obtained full-time, long-term, JD required employment 9 months after graduation. Samford's law school transparency underemployment score is 30.5%, indicating the percentage of the class of 2013 unemployed, pursuing an additional degree, or working in a non-professional, short-term, or part-time job 9 months after graduation. Costs. The total cost of attendance at Samford for the 2013-2014 academic year is $56,492. The law school transparency estimated debt-financed cost of attendance for 3 years is $214,268. Organizations. Publications. The Cumberland Law Review, whose members are selected by write-in from the top 15% of the freshman class. The American Journal of Trial Advocacy, whose members are selected by write-in from the top 33% of the freshman class. Selected student organizations: Alabama Defense Lawyers Association, the American Constitution Society for Law and Policy, Association of Trial Lawyers of America, Black Law Students Association, Christian Legal Society, Cordell Hull Speakers Forum, Federalist Society, Henry Upson Sims Moot Court Board, Law, Science and Technology Society, Phi Alpha Delta, Student Bar Association, Trial Advocacy Board, Women in the Law. In 2007, student teams from Cumberland won both the criminal justice trial competition held in Hamden, Connecticut and the Lone Star Classic mock trial competition in San Antonio, Texas. In 2008, Cumberland placed first out of 256 other teams in the American Association for Justice Justice National Student Trial Advocacy Competition and in 2009, placed second, losing by 1 point. The same year, Cumberland made the finals of the ABA National Appellate Advocacy Competition. It was one of 4 from 30 teams in its region that went to the national finals in Chicago. Cumberland won third best brief in the region. In 2009, a Cumberland team won the regional round of the national trial competition in Tallahassee, Florida, advancing to the national championship round in San Antonio. Cumberland was the only school in the competition to have both of its teams advance to the semi-final round. Cumberland also won the American Association for Justice Mock Trial Competition Regional Championship, advancing to the national championship round. In West Palm Beach, FL. Student life. Cumberland offers numerous extracurricular activities. Housing for law students is not available on campus, but students typically rent apartments or buy houses in the surrounding community. Rankings. In 2016, U.S. News & World Report did not publish a rank for Cumberland, which means that it was ranked in the bottom 25% of all law schools. In 2005, 2006 and 2007, the Princeton Review included Cumberland in its best 170 law schools, ranking it in 2 top 10 lists for 3 years in a row. In 2009, U.S. News ranked Cumberland's trial advocacy program 9th in the nation. In 2007, Cumberland ranked 6th for faculty performance and accessibility and 7th for overall quality of life. Deans.